Hey guys, it is me, Tanya, founder of the Team G Designs Group Limited. I hope you're all keeping safe and well. Now, in today's video, we're going to be talking with the beautiful Mr. Ajay Dhunna, talking about all things on how to boost your brand status. Now, there's a very good reason why I'm talking to him, but make sure that you stick around to the very end because we've got some really cool gifts to be able to share with you guys at the very end. So make sure you stick around to then. But before we get into it, AJ, go ahead and introduce yourself, the Google Ads expert. Go for it.
Hey, thank you. Thanks, Tanya, for bringing me onto your platform. I look forward to this interview. You can grow me for all the things that I've done and the pain that I've put you through. So my name is Ajay Dhunna. I'm a Google Ads expert. And so I've been doing digital marketing for about the best part of 20 years now, helping businesses to get more leads, more sales, and more inquiries. I'm also Male Entrepreneur of the Year. So that's something to add to my sort of credentials. And recently, I've just become an author. So yesterday, I published my first ever book on how to win customers with Google Ads. So I'm hoping that will give you a bit of a flavor about who I am. And yeah, I'll hand it back over to yourself again.
Amazing. Thank you, AJ. So yes, folks, let's get straight into it. Here we go. So anyway, folks, let's get straight into today's topic. We're going to be talking about the idea of how to boost your brand status. And do you know what? There's so many ways about going to do it. But AJ, let's come to you first. We're directing this interview to you because do you know what? Number one, not only, as I said, have you hit being a number one best-selling author for the very, very first time. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
But do you know what? Obviously, you and I have had the pleasure of working together. I actually helped to design your book cover and equally worked with a really super cool publishing team to get it out there and be shared with the masses over on Amazon. Look at that. Beautiful cover. Absolutely amazing. And equally beautiful content because do you know what? It's so educational. There's so much that I never even understood properly, especially when it came to the idea of Google Ads. Remember, I said to you, I said, yeah, but AJ, I'm on Google. What are you talking about? It's fine. I'm okay. But then you were like, Tan, take a seat. Let me educate you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very common thing. I hear it all the time. That, hey, I'm already on Google. Hey, we don't need Google. And then I say, all right, cool, that's good. What are you on Google for? And it's like, well, if someone searches for my name, I'm there. Or if it's search my company name, that's probably like about 10 different people, right? We've got about 60 million people in the UK. So how are they going to find out? So it's not just about, yeah, you might be on Google, but are you on Google for the right thing when people are looking for your products or services? And that was a chat that we had about.
Give people a really cool idea as to what being on Google actually is, right? And especially what Google Ads can actually do for yourself as well.
Sure. So Google Ads is it's a paid platform, and what you do essentially is you pay Google to be at the top of the Google page. So whenever somebody searches for your products or services, so if you're a brand specialist, for example, you might want people to come to you because they're looking for a brand videos or some business cards or a website doing, right? So people go onto Google, and remember, Google is the #1 search platform in the world, right? There's nothing bigger than Google, right? It's followed by YouTube, which is also owned by Google as well. So what we do is that you can type in your keywords in there, like, for example, brand specialist near me. And we give those keywords to Google. We put a price against it. And if someone searches for those, then you appear right at the top of the page. And there's 4 slots at the top of the page. If someone reads it and they like what they read and they click on your website or they call you, only then do you pay Google, right? So it's a very fast way of getting onto Google without worrying, without spending 6 months trying to build a search engine optimization campaign or whatever. So in a very nutshell, that's what Google Ads is.
Yeah, in a small nutshell, but there's many nutshells to be cracked over this stuff. And yeah, it wasn't until you actually described that to me, I was like, oh, okay. Because yeah, people can search for your direct name, but what if they're doing a bit more of a wider search? You know what I mean? What if they're doing a bit more of a specific search? Then will you actually come up? That's the difference. And it wasn't until you actually said that, it made me just think, oh my goodness, yeah, I'm actually not on Google in that kind of a way, you know? So I think you definitely opened up my eyes to the idea as to how you can actually get yourself out there better. And equally with Google, understanding that it's more of an intended search, so people are actually going to be looking for your services. That means that they're going to have a better conversion rate and all that kind of stuff as well, right?
That's right, yeah, because one thing I find very common is that people get very caught up in their terminology, right? So I might go out there and say, hey, do you want to be on Google Ads? And people say, why do I want to be on Google Ads? If I say the same thing, that do you want leads for your business or do you want more customers? Yeah, of course I do. So it's the same thing. But so what we got to do as marketers is that we got to detach ourselves from the technical terminology, right? And not using technical terms and just focus on the terms that your audience are more likely to use because they know about those terms, which might mean the same thing. So then it's important that when you do decide on your keywords, you use the right, not the keywords which are the specialist keywords, but what your audience are typically going to use to search for your products or services.
So off the back of what you just talked to me about, now let's get into it. Let's get into it a little bit more. Yes, you are a Google Ads expert, right? And pretty much a magician, I'd like to add, because I think from the results that you get for people is just nuts. It's crazy. But equally, you weren't always the type of person to make sure that you got yourself out there in that kind of way, right? You were always sort of like the behind the scenes. And sometimes us techies, we like to be behind the scenes, right? So I want to know what, in the world of building your status, especially your brand status, what was it that made you decide, you know what, I want to come up with a book?
You know, it was a bit of a journey. It wasn't like I got up and just decided I'm going to write a book. Actually, if you asked me the same question 2 years ago, books, me? Nah, man, that's not for me, right? It was not even on my radar, right? I've got a mentor, and the mentors helped me a lot because I used to be one of these people that I'm behind the keyboard, and people find me on Google, and they'll inquire and everything else. But the world is now a changing world, and if we don't change with the world, we get left behind. And this is why some of the most biggest stores in the world have closed down, because they have not kept up to date with tech, getting themselves out there. I mean, TK Maxx has only just launched their website. Yeah, but at least they launched it. Yeah.
Finally. Well, mind you, with TK Maxx, I get it because their stock is continuously changing. So then what do you focus that message on? But then that's the good challenge. You focus it on the actual brand, the values, the beliefs, you know, all that kind of stuff. But
that's right, yeah. So I started this journey about on my first platform, whereby it was getting out of my comfort zone, was YouTube, right? Because everyone can do posts on Facebook, and what you find is that people will say something to you on a text message which they won't otherwise say to you on face, because it's a very different, the interpretation is very different. So I used to be on Facebook just posting and everything else, but then I found it's not enough because people aren't getting to know me, and I'm having to say who I am, what my background is, and everything else. So I started on YouTube, and I started this journey about doing a YouTube video every single week, or almost every single week. Yeah. And then I found it changed my business a little bit, and the way it changed is because when people started making inquiries, when they called me, they started saying, "Hey, we've already seen you." I'm like, "Really? Okay, I can't remember seeing a comment from you." Right? So they were engaging, but they were watching. So what that taught me is that there's a lot of ghost viewers out there, right? And ghost viewers are the people who acknowledge you, they see you, they just don't comment, right? And I thought that's really interesting, right? So the way that changed for me is I wasn't selling to those people anymore, or wasn't telling them about myself anymore. And then I thought, okay, let's expand this, right? And this is all by the direction of my mentor, who was pushing me to do this stuff and getting me out of my comfort zone, because we don't want to be in front of a camera, right? I mean, a year ago, I probably wouldn't be able to do this talk.
Yeah.
I'd be trembling. I'm like, oh my God, what are you talking about? Right, on camera. Now, you don't give a damn, right? Because people don't give a damn about how you look or what the camera or the lighting is. All they care about is the transformation that your video or your content is going to make for them. So then I started on the journey of lives on Facebook and doing TikTok, doing videos, So I got out of my comfort zone, started creating more and more of this content. And what I found, again, it was another stepping level whereby people thought, bloody hell, more people get to know me, and they're seeing my emails now. Now I've got email automation, and they're seeing my name and everything else, right? So when they want to inquire, the first person they think about is, oh, AJ, because we keep getting these emails. They might not read it, but they're seeing it. And these are the ghost viewers, right? So I got to a certain point whereby I think I just need to do something a little bit more, because I need to see how can I separate myself from other competitors who may be doing the same sorts of things, right? And one of the key things I knew I had to do was get this done, right? Get a book, because not only to elevate my authority, right, as an expert within Google Ads, but also, I've got all this knowledge. I've got like over 20 years of knowledge about Google Ads, PPC, SEO, and so on. And I just felt it was a bit selfish of me not to share it, because sharing is serving. Yeah. So I wanted to share that knowledge, put everything down from here into there. And then there came the challenge of, well, if you're going to write a book, what is it going to, I know it's going to be about Google Ads, but what about Google Ads, right? So I visit a lot of businesses, right? I consult a lot of companies, go inside there, help them create digital marketing strategies. And a very interesting pattern I found is that a lot of the CEOs or business owners, they know what Google is, they don't know what Google Ads is. They don't know how to use. Yeah, but they know Google because they search on Google. Google is like a common terminology that everyone uses. But when you do a search, the results that you get at the top are from Google Ads, but they don't know that. And they don't know what the difference between Google Ads and the listings at the bottom of the page and so on. And I found this is a very, very, very common pattern. And because of that, people are not investing in Google Ads. And also what I found is that those people that are investing in Google Ads, they've got the agency doing their Google Ads for them, or their freelancer or whatever, but they still don't understand it themselves, and they want to understand it. They might not want to become an expert within Google Ads, but they want to understand the basic terminology. What am I supposed to be looking for? How do you make a profitable Google campaign? What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? How can I tweak it? What are keywords and so on? So that was quite obvious what I need to do. I need to put that knowledge into a book to help businesses and CEOs to understand what Google Ads is. So they might not want to become expert themselves, but they want to understand how to create good Google Ads campaigns so they can have meaningful conversations with their marketeers and so on. So that was a journey of how the book sort of came about.
I love that. And you're right. You need, if you're in a position to be able to share knowledge like that, then go ahead and share it, because somebody needs to hear it, and somebody needs to know that there is actually coherent help out there, because even like with my subject, branding, right? A lot of people know about branding, but they don't get it. Right? Even in today's society, they still don't kind of get it, right? And the same, I would imagine, would be for Google Ads or being on Google, as we all know about, right? People don't get it. And that's why if you've got that ability to be able to share it, especially through the likes of a book, then why the hell not? Why the hell not? But yeah, I'm super pleased that you went ahead and did your book in any case, because I know it was a grueling process as books are when it comes to, obviously I've had experience of writing chapters, right, for the Queens of Business Club books, but those are chapters, and those were hard in themselves, especially when you're putting your yourself onto a page. You're being vulnerable in that kind of aspect. Now, yes, this is a techie book, but I know you put a level of vulnerability in there as well. That is super a lot. It's a hell of a lot to do.
Yeah, because you're opening yourself up, and you're exposing a part of your life, or even your thoughts.
Yes.
And a lot of people are afraid of expressing their thoughts and opinions.
And what do you think? I know what frustrates me. But what do you think? Because knowing what you've gone through, especially with your book, right? And being able to just put yourself out there on a page, or however many are in your book, right? There's loads. But at the same time, it's valuable. So, but what do you do to somebody who's thinking, oh no, I don't want to do that just yet. Or do you know what, maybe next time, or yeah, I'll do it later when I'm not quite there yet. Or, maybe it's not really for me, Think about who you were back then. What would you say to yourself now?
Yeah, again, that's another great journey I've come across, because we all procrastinate. We always saying today's not the time, or it's for somebody else. It's not for me. Yeah, I thought books are for somebody else.
Yeah.
Therefore, authors. You can be an author by writing a book, but I thought therefore, they're people who write books, right? Or therefore, people who've got a team behind them, or a lot of money behind them, and so on, right? So, and then not only that, but there's a lot of people that have got a lack of self belief.
Mm.
A lot of people that I come across in my life, in my businesses, have got so much to offer, but they've got low self esteem. They don't think they've got
Yes.
enough. I
Yeah.
just want to learn this part first, and then I can do something. Or I
Mm.
just need to brush up my knowledge on that before I do something. Or I just need a website before I do this. They're all excuses, because the thing is that you will never be ready. And the moment you're ready, there'll be something else, and there'll be something else, and there'll be something else. And what it requires is someone to give you a metaphorical slap and say, "You can do it.
It's so true.
You can do
I mean, we
it."
all need
Right?
those metaphorical slaps, sometimes even the
Yeah,
real ones, but just to snap out of it. So you got
yeah,
this.
yeah. And the other interesting thing I found is a lot of people want to hold back on their knowledge,
Oh, yeah.
because they think, I'm going to give all the secrets away. Right? I'm not going to tell people all this, because hey, nobody's gonna inquire with me. It's like if I start telling people how to build Google Ads campaigns, what PPCs are, what keywords are, and everything else, I'm giving so much knowledge away that people aren't going to come to me. But in actual fact, it's the total opposite. What you do is you just give value without even asking for something, and people start respecting you. And I always talk about KLT, know, like, and trust, right? And by giving value, people get to know you, they get to like you, and they get to trust you.
Hmm.
And if they get to know, like, and trust you, that you automatically sold to them without even doing any selling. So don't be afraid to give your knowledge. Don't be afraid to just tell people. If you're using a certain tool, just tell people what it is. Let them go away and try it,
Yeah.
right?
They're
Because
going to come back anyway because they'll be like, I don't want to do this. I
yeah, I mean,
really don't want to do this.
I mean, how can I possibly cram up my 20 years knowledge in a book or in a course? You can't do it,
Mm-mm.
right? So you can help people and help as many people as you can,
Mhm.
right? The world's a big enough place, and people will respect you for that.
Mm. I totally agree with that because yes, I mean, and to your point as well, yeah. Try not to give away the how, right? Whenever you are sharing knowledge, but the knowledge that you do share, as in the what and the why, those are super key and super valuable and should always be shared for sure.
Yeah,
Especially when it
absolutely.
comes to the likes of your brand, making sure that especially if one of your values is about having integrity, is about sharing, is about serving, like we just spoke about, you know, those are the aspects that you need to actually follow through on, right? So
That's
give
right.
that knowledge because, like we said before, sharing is caring.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, with all of what we do as business owners, as entrepreneurs, we're trying to make sure that we move our clients or move our prospects, move our audience onto that next stage, whatever that next stage would be. It's not for us to decide for them, but it's for us to help them,
yeah,
and
yeah.
we need to make sure that they are actually making that decision for themselves, because then we know it's more purposeful, then we know it's more meaningful, then, right?
That's right.
Especially
Yeah,
if that
yeah,
decision just comes from them.
yeah, yeah. And you also got to remember that there are buyers and there are non-buyers,
Mm-hmm.
right? There are people who are going a free course every single anytime there's a free course or a free seminar, they will be there, right? Ask them to pay $10, you'll never see them,
No.
right? So what you got to remember is that give your knowledge away,
Yeah.
right? Because those people who are not going to buy from me, they will never buy from me anyway, right? Because they just want to do everything themselves and think that they can do a better job,
Yeah.
right?
And,
So
and
that's
that's
another
okay.
one.
Let them try it. They'll be back.
Do
They'll be
your
back.
best shot.
There was a lot I know that you experienced throughout your whole book journey, right? And I know that there's going to be people out there who are thinking the same thing. Yeah, but why do I need to be an author? I don't need to be an author. And the reality is, no, you don't. But
Yeah,
if there's a little thing in the back of your head that's just been saying, yeah, go and try it, well, then you need to be listening to that a little bit more, because it's come up for you for a very, very good reason. And you're watching this video for a very, very good reason. So think about getting out of your own way and not only think about it, but actually do it, because you're not going to be able to move forwards with yourself doing whatever it is that you do until you get that little annoying voice out of your head, you know?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Just do it. If you've got knowledge in your head that you think it's going to serve other people, right? Just do it, because you're sharing your knowledge. You don't know what transformation you're going to make in their lives just by you putting your knowledge into some form of content, you know, whether it be a book or whether it be YouTube or whatever. So sharing is caring.
Absolutely.
And just have the attitude that I'm just going to do it. And especially if you're going to also build a personal brand. So if you've been building a personal brand, it's even more important.
Oh my goodness!
To have this thing here, so that, you know, people see you, people recognize you, and you're giving valuable information away to help them in their personal lives or in their businesses or whatever aspects of their life.
Absolutely. And I remember one of the co-authors for the Queens of Business book as well. She said the amount of negativity she actually had coming at her, saying, "Oh, what do you know about writing? What do you know about doing this? What do you know about, well, who's going to want to listen to your words?" And she was like, "Okay." And that was it. And they also said, was it, "Yeah, I could do that. No problem. I don't know what you're talking about. And then she was like, "Okay, cool. Here's a chair. Take a seat. Let's start typing. Go for it." And they were like, no, it's fine. I don't need to do it. I was like, right. So, and she was like, literally, put your money where your mouth is, get your keyboard out, get to typing, and then let's see what you can come up with. If you've got so much of this, write the talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't talk to me until you've done it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the other thing I find is that, you know, coming on to the 80-20 rule, the Pareto law, right? 80% of people will always tell you not to do something. Right? They'll always say, no, don't do it. Why do you want to do that for? And only 20% of people actually push you to do it. So listen to that 20%, right? Ignore the noise out there.
Yes.
Right? It's for you. You can do, why don't you spend your time in better ways or whatever? Do what's right for you. Step back and think for yourself what's good for you and your vision, how you want to move forward in life.
Because it will naturally sit right with you as well. So that's how you know to do it, right?
Yeah.
So let's go on now, AJ, to the idea of building your status once again. But I guess, has it, going through the journey that you've gone through, right? And the processes, and equally me speaking to you about your book cover, you know, even with the asset of a book cover, as much as it is not just the cover, but at the same time, it's not the whole book, right? But still, I got you to think in a certain kind of a way. And I want to know, has it, when you're now building up your status, especially with the likes of your book, has it actually helped you to understand the awareness of your brand even more?
Yeah, 100%. Because I didn't really understand this journey about branding and everything else. And some people think it's just about a color, right? And it's not just about a color. There's so much more to it. And what I see is that every aspect of your business, every content that you want to put out, it's got to work in harmony with each other, because you don't want to create a disjoint, right? So think about a user journey. When a user comes to you, the way they see you, your tone of voice, even from the way you speak, to when they're visiting your social media, to your website, to your book. Everything's got to match up. Everything's got to look like, hey, this is all part of the one thing. It's not something different. And that was the most important lesson I learned. So now when I'm building my social media or doing any sort of artwork or graphics work, whatever, I know that it's got to fit in with this, right? And this, from the perspective of colors, but the style, the sort of the tone of voice that I'm using in it. Right, so everything's got to marry up, and I didn't really realize that. One interesting story is that when I was doing my YouTubes, first I was editing them myself, and then I got busy, and then I hired someone to do them for me. And then what they used to do is that they used to chop out all the ums and the ahs. You know, we're talking to say whatever. They used to chop them all out, and I used to look at my videos sometimes, and we don't always like looking at our own videos. I used to look at them and I'm thinking, that's way too polished, man. What's going on here? And then I asked him, I said, hey, what are you doing? He goes, oh, don't worry about it. I'm just tidying your video. I'm taking out the ums and the ahs. And I said, no, I don't want that. I want people to see me for what I am. If I do ums and ahs on video, right, I want to do them on YouTube. And if I'm on stage doing any public speaking, I want to do them there. I don't want to be something different on YouTube and something different when I'm doing public talking or public speaking, right? So leave it in there. If I stutter, I stutter, right? I want the people to see me for me, and it comes down to just being authentic, right? And so it was really important for me to take brand very seriously in my journey, because I know that when we started this journey about book cover, I could have easily had just gone to other platforms. Can I name platform on this? Right?
Yeah, go for it.
So I was considering on going to Fiverr or 99 Designs, and there's a few others like that, right? And so they bombard you with all these designs, and you choose one, but the issue I found there is that nobody really understands you. Nobody understands the wider picture. They're interpreting what you're saying. So if I say to them, do ABC, if you're lucky, they'll do ABC. They're more likely to do A and B, and they won't do C. And if they do C, they'll miss out A. If they do A, they'll miss out B.
So
but they'll never go the extra mile and say, okay, I know you told me you want all this and you want all these and blah, blah, blah. But let's step back. Tell me a bit about yourself, right? And this is where you came in, right? Because I came in with my guns blazing. I want all this, that, and the other. And you only step back and really rethink, what am I doing? And so, like one very simple example on here is the colors that we've used. So yellow is my main color, my primary color. And then I've got the blues, I've got the reds, I've got the greens, and I've got the whites. Now, people who use Google, they would know that these are the official Google colors. So I've represented Google on my book, even without putting the Google Ads massive logo to say, hey, this is all about Google Ads. Somebody who's using Google will resonate with this straight away, right? And those are the sort of values that you help me to bring out to understand what is it that I'm really trying to aim for? What is it that I'm trying to achieve when designing a book cover?
Yeah, it's super key. A lot of people, you don't think about those little things, and going on to those platforms that you mentioned. Yes, sometimes they will get it, but not all the time. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to be toing and froing, and it gets super annoying. And then you're done, and you're over it, and then you've forgotten about your book, and then you're over it.
Yeah.
And then here's the thing, though. The other thing that they don't do is listen.
Yeah.
And you have to listen. Well, it's funny. A few weeks ago, in fact, I was in a mentoring group, and we got to revisit what our USP is, right? And I had to rethink what mine were. I was like, yeah. I was like, oh no, wait, what is it these days? And I really just got to home in and think about what have my clients really appreciated from me. And I think you actually helped me with one in particular, and it was the fact that I listened. And I actually understood, and I was able to take your idea and actually make it a reality type of thing.
Because it's more of a consultative approach,
yes,
as opposed to just listening to the client and doing what they've told you to do. Yeah,
absolutely. And so, folks, if you're watching this video, I do recommend that you do that. If you're stuck on it's a simple thing, right? Sometimes we get stuck in those little simple details. Literally, just ask your clients, how have I helped you? What is it that I actually really do for you? Because we forget about that, we so forget about that.
Or we underestimate.
Yes, we so do.
We don't think, hey, that was nothing. That was just part of my job. And they're like, no, man, that's the thing that really helped me. Yeah.
Because you again, it's that whole aspect of moving somebody from one state to another state.
That's right. Yeah.
It's releasing that block, and I was so super pleased that I nailed it for you. And and just being able to just help you with this journey, because I've had the privilege of working with you before, but also understanding just your journey. So I get it and I appreciate it. And because I appreciate it, I wanted to work with you on it, to just get you to that next level. And it frustrates me at times, AJ, when I know that there's a really good product, but then people just figure out what the quick fixes are to get there.
Shortcuts, yeah. Because in my book, there is one thing I talk about Gigo, right? GIGO, right? Garbage in, garbage out, right? If
Yeah.
right? And that's something that, so if you ask the wrong question, you're going to get the wrong answer,
Yeah.
right? So if I don't know about branding, I'm just going to say, hey, I want a book with yellow colors, I want this or whatever. And the other person will do it because I've given them poor quality information. I'm not an expert, right? And that's what happens on this platform. You give crap quality information, right? And then you get your rubbish back. You give garbage information, you get garbage back. And then you think that's not really that good. And it's not, and the reason it's not really that good is because you asked the wrong question. These guys on these platforms just can do what you asked them to do, right? So having this consultative approach means that you might be asking a bad question, but it's up to the expert then to change your thought pattern.
Absolutely.
Right? As to, okay, I hear what you're saying. Now listen to me, right? Answer
That
this.
sounds pretty and all, however.
Yeah. And you start thinking, oh yeah, of course. Oh yeah, oh that's a good idea. Yeah. And you're thinking,
I know it is. But but that's what, in my opinion, right? Whenever I'm helping somebody, whenever I'm serving or doing the stuff that I do for them, I cannot not do that. Does that make sense? Because then I'd be doing you an injustice.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, it's also doing me a disservice because I know you're going to be talking about it to other people and saying that, oh yeah, she, Tan did that.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, no, please don't link me to that.
But
so I want to make sure that journey continues.
Yeah, because your passion comes out of it.
Yes.
So when I was talking to you, your passion was coming through. It wasn't about making a quick dollar, right? That's just a byproduct, right? You could tell this person genuinely wants to help me because they put me in an uncomfortable situation and made me think about things that I haven't otherwise thought about. They've been very transparent with me about every aspect of the journey, what I'm going to get, what I'm not going to get, the questions, and make me rethink and say, yeah, I think that's what I want. And after when we had I think our talk was an hour and a half, whatever, I remember seeing the first draft, what you gave to me, right? I almost cried thinking, bloody hell, this is like, you've just taken the information from here and put it into this PDF. This is mine, right? So well, right? And put our own spin on it, right? And that's what happens by talking to an expert, right? It's not, you're not the expert, you're the expert in your field. You're not an expert in what you want to achieve, whether it's advertising or marketing or branding or whatever. So hence it's so essential to talk to an expert, talk to the right expert who is not going to try to just sell to you, but they're going to give you value and they're going to give you that consultative approach.
It's serving over selling, And I think that's where I resonated with you on as well, because you do the same thing with helping with your clients. And so really quick, AJ, let's talk about where they can actually get your book. We keep talking about it, right? So let's let the folks know, and I'll be sharing a link as well around this video. So you'll be able to go ahead and get your copy of that book. But equally too, I would like you to, as much as I was talking about my USP, I want to understand what is now your USP after the journey that we've gone on, especially with your rediscovering your brand a little bit more, but equally now building up your status by way of a book. What do you now understand your USP to be?
Okay, the first question, to get my book, you can go to ajdunna.com/Google book. Quite a nice and simple URL. So my USP is, or what I consider my USP is that I'm firstly very transparent with people, right? And there's no secrets. I tell them everything that they need to know. I give them the interfaces, so I don't hide stuff. Because in my industry, our industry has got a bit of a not so good reputation because people keep claiming that they've got secrets. And they talk to Google directly, and I've got insiders, whatever, and there's none of that. So I cut through all of that, right? The fact that I've got a book, I've got a system in here that I follow. You can either use it directly from the book, or that when we take on clients, what system we're going to use, right? So we're cutting out all the BS, very transparent, and I always go the extra mile. I always go the extra mile because I give so much value to my customers, and it's all because I've got such a wealth of experience behind me. I've got about 20 years experience behind me. So I'm bundling all that up. It's not like I've just taken a 2-week course on Google Ads and then coming across as a Google Ads expert. I've got hands-on experience. The campaigns that we build, I've got a part to play in it and do hands-on experience. It's not just theoretical. It's not just my team, right? So I build it myself. So I know what works, what doesn't work, and how to make campaigns profitable right from day one, as opposed to cutting out all the taking out all the guesswork and helping my clients to fast track their success.
Absolutely. Just in a nutshell, once again, that's about summarizes it. But hey, listen, being a Google Ads expert, I think number one, you pick up a thing or two when you go along your journey, right? However, our journeys evolve, and I think you summed it up nicely by what your USP is. And folks, when you're watching this video, think about that. I deliberately asked AJ what his USP was, and I deliberately talked about mine because I now want you guys to think about what is your new USP? What is it for you today, right? Not when you started, but what is it today? Because we've been growing, we've been evolving. So things naturally change. So what is it for you? So AJ, we are done. Thank you so much for joining me today. And yeah, I'm gonna literally just make sure that we push this out even further. Folks, please go ahead and share this video. Go ahead and buy AJ's book by clicking onto the link that will also be below this video. Equally, if you're wanting to find out even more about how to boost your status, your brand status even more so, make sure you go ahead and click on the link also in my description as well, which is tngdesigns.co.uk/ebook, because you're going to be able to understand really cool six really cool principles. Let me get my words out. 6 really cool principles as to how you can keep going about boosting your brand status and a hell of a lot more. So folks, enjoy the rest of your day with whatever you're getting up to, and I will see you on the other side. Take care, guys. Bye.